And okay, you already share, right? Share the slide?
Yes, it's shared.
Okay, excellent, good. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. And oh, I haven't seen Oven. Where's the Oven? Okay, but I want, okay, but I also want to thank the organization committee here for inviting me, giving me this opportunity to meet all of you. Okay, I love meeting undergraduate students. This is truth too, okay? I love meeting undergraduate students. And using the time I'm meeting you, we can talk about various subjects. One, like today, we're gonna touch on it, okay? So I'm gonna, I tend to be a storyteller. I like to use a story, sometimes my own story, to make my point across. So today, same thing. I would use the story, mostly part my own story, okay? So sit back, relax, okay? That's the lecture I love the most. No exam, and I just sit back, and then I sit there for 1 hour, I get 1 credit. At the end, I get 88. That's when I was in medical school. And then the professor said, if 88 is not good enough, you can write a report. I said, no, 88 is good enough for me. Okay, so let me see, how do I advance? Oh, this one here, okay, okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I see now I hold many positions in industry as a consultant, also in non-profit organization. I listed here, but I want to assure you there's absolutely no financial gain and no impact toward today's talk. Okay, so meaning I'm biased, okay? Not biased, I'm not biased. Okay, all right, so briefly a little bit myself. Lily Hsiao, which is a Roger wonderfully asked me whether my name is a hyphen. I was like, yes, please, because otherwise it creates lots of confusion in this country, okay? So I was born and raised in Taiwan. I graduated from college before I decided to come to the United States. So I came in 1983. When I came with a plan to get PhD and would be happy as a scientist for the rest of my life, okay? But sometimes, life have a different turn. So I ended up went to medical school in Philadelphia, ended up doing my medicine residency in the same city. When I decided to specialize in kidney, if anybody interested in it later on, we can, I'll give you more about my decision why I decided to be a kidney doctor, okay, which I love it. So I went to Harvard, which is, by the way, I make my decision so late. So the only school I apply is Harvard. People think I'm too arrogant, but the truth is I'm desperate because I have no other school to apply, okay? But luckily I got in, and after I finished my fellowship, I successfully get in all the research grant, and I become a faculty at Harvard, and I've been there ever since. Advisor for master's degree student, PhD student, and postdoctoral fellow, this all kind of things. And meanwhile, when you grow up, later on, like us, we all have to be being an administrator. For example, right now, I'm a medical director for a large dialysis center. Okay, I created a community outreach program called Kidney Disease Screening Awareness Program, KDSAP. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about how that started. And currently, I'm also associate director for Harvard Summer Research Program in kidney medicine. Anybody interested in want to apply? I'm sure by joining Harvard, Texas, I'm sure you all be very qualified to apply. Okay. Okay, let's see, what is the next? Oh, so now here we go. So I have interviewed undergraduate students, a good number of undergraduate students in the past many years, okay? And I realized that many undergraduate students has a common notion that physician scientist, in order to be called physician scientist, one need to have MD and PhD. But you know truth, not so, okay? I wanna take this opportunity to clarify that in order to be a physician scientist, you do not need to have both MD and PhD, okay? If you want to know more about it, we can discuss more during the what is called discussion Q&A session, okay? Okay, so 20 plus years at Harvard Medical School, how do I feel? Like a fish in the water. I absolutely love it, okay? And I love a life being a physician scientist, okay? Yeah, that's a true story. I love my life and I love what I do, okay? So the next 30 minutes or so, because I want to leave time for question, okay? So I will share with you what I think is important to develop a career in science, okay? I use a bioscience because now I talk to Roger and I realize a good thing I do that because there's, some people here, they also do chemistry research. Okay, so, but before we started, let me share with you how I get into interest in doing research. Okay, when I graduated from college, my first job was working in a lab as a laboratory assistant. Okay, and the first day I reported to my boss' office, and he said, "I wanted you to work on betel nut-induced oral cancer," which is very common in Taiwan at the time. Betel nut is a plant, and there's a certain type of paste, and people love to chew, okay? When they chew, then they spit as they are coughing out blood, as a matter of fact, but they would just happen to be powder. But because of chemical, it causing a lot of oral cancer. So my boss tell me, I want you to work on betel nut-induced oral cancer. And I look at him and say, okay. I was waiting for him to tell me what to do. And he said, that's it. I was like, okay. You should know that at that point, I already graduated from college. You guys are lucky, okay? I already graduated from college. I had zero research training, zero, okay? Nobody teach me how to do research other than laboratory, okay? My major at that time was a pharmacy, so we did the lab, that's all, okay? I have no clue how to approach science, all right? And he said, that's it. I was like, what should I do then? And luckily, somehow, I say, all right, I'm gonna go to the library. And I hide in the library for 1 week, which is amazing. My boss actually allowed me to stay in the library for 1 week. I dig out every single paper related to betel nut, every single paper related to oral cancer, and I read them. And somehow I wrote a 1-page proposal. And I went to him, I said, this is the proposal I wrote, and I wrote how to approach this project. And he took a look and he said, pretty good. He said, go to talk to so-and-so, ask that person teach you, do an EMS test, which EMS test is a carcinogen detecting test. That is the very first experiment method that I have ever learned in my entire life. Okay, and I remember so well, on my way walking out my boss's office, I say, wow, if this is a research, I love it. Why? Someone pay me to have fun. Right? Someone pay me to use my own idea. I can read paper and come up with my own idea, come up with my own imagination, say, this is what I want to do. And they pay me to play. I was like, that's a research. That's really fun. I love it. Okay. And so this is how I started. Okay. And so the first lesson I learned in doing science or research is independent thinking. And I was lucky enough to have Dr. Y.C. Lin, who was my boss, who was my mentor, who put me on that path. So it's very, very unusual, okay, particularly for Asian children, or some of the grew up Asian, they spoon-fed you of all the knowledge, but he was the one giving me this opportunity to have independent thinking, and that stimulate my interest to want to do research. Okay. So the next element I wanted to mention, what is important to do research is passion and compassion. I'm going to use my own experience of studying malaria for my PhD. Okay, so when I came to the United States in 1983, I chose malaria as my PhD thesis. And as a matter of fact, I was the only person in the entire school choosing this subject. Okay, and as a matter of fact, entire Philadelphia, I was the second person. One professor, UPenn, and me. And I was, I was a graduate student between him, the professor UPenn, and my advisor. Okay, so my friend come to me, ask me, and say, why you want to do malaria? Nobody care in the United States. Does your country, Taiwan, had this problem? I said, no, my country no longer have a malaria. But I told this person, I said, but I do care, because there's millions of children die with malaria in Africa. Not back then, even now, right? A couple of years ago, I went to Nigeria, and we all have to take medicine. I'm still got mosquito bite like a crazy, okay? And we still dispatching the malaria medication, right? So that's my foundation. I do care about this subject. I care because so many people died. And at that time, 1983, already have a drug-resistant strength. In our department, where I'm getting my PhD, absolutely no molecular biology, only cell biology. And same thing, I went to library. This time I hid it for 3 months. And I come up with my own hypothesis. Okay, my advisor background is physics. My entire life I never understand physics. So I said, if I do his using his background about 10 years, I won't get my PhD. So I hide in library for 3 months. I developed my own hypothesis using cell biology. Okay, as it turned out, I discovered 2 new structures. Okay, one is a channel connecting between the, I don't know if I can show, yeah, this is a parasite, okay, and this is a host membrane, the human red blood cell, okay, and there's a channel there, and then also inside there's a lot of small vesicle. It's a transporting vesicle. So that means the parasite, once you are in the host, actually transporting material to your host. And I was the first one. Back then, the director at WHO, the director of malaria branch at WHO, he was the only person that got so excited by my data, okay? My finding is different from the 40, 50 years. At that point, everybody know, okay? So other than there's a director from WHO appreciate my data. Nobody else. Every time I stand on the podium, give a talk, everybody ready to throw X at me. Because my data is a total disagree with him. As if I tell everybody, say, you guys are all wrong. Okay, so, and the truth is, I should name those structure after me, right? Too bad. I got too excited, completely forget. And by the time we publish paper, it's too late, right? Yeah, otherwise I have 2 structure named after me. And so this paper I actually published in Nature. Malaria, a subject nobody care. When people say, we don't care, nobody care, why you work on that? But I do, that's what happened. Okay, another point I want to make is you notice that the first author is not me. Okay, so there's a point I want to make here, take the opportunity to tell you, in life, sometimes that could happen, okay? What are you gonna handle this situation? You're gonna feel unjust, you're gonna feel you get screwed, what happened? All right, be prepared, think about how you're gonna handle that. As for me, my philosophy is, it's okay. The sky is so big, you want this one, you can have it. I'll take this one. Okay, all right, that's always my attitude, okay? And also pay it forward, okay? This person, because of my work, this is entire my work, my PhD thesis, my copyright, okay? But after this paper, he got a professorship back in Paris, all right? So that's a paying forward, okay? Later on, there's someone else also helped me, right? So that's my attitude, okay, all right. So what is the second lesson I wanted to tell you? Passion and compassion give us strength, and perseverance. Perseverance is very important, okay? this is my own personal, my own philosophy. I never believe in smartness. Okay, being smart is not good enough. Okay, perseverance is more important. All right, do you easy to give up or not? Okay, but what make you not giving up? Think about that. Okay, and what make you have that strength? Say, I'm gonna stay on. I'm not gonna turn it away. Okay, so here the title is a career niche. This is a little bit too early for you. Okay, I wouldn't tell you to develop niche yet. Okay, niche is like an expertise, right? For example, now that's a whole world. If I stay on malaria, if I didn't change my field, you know, right now, if whole world here, Lily Hsiao, they would immediately link to malaria. That's a niche, okay? But I'm not, okay? You later on, I'll tell you what not to do, okay? Like me, okay? Yeah, but I have fun with my life, okay? So the niche, some point in your life, you do need to think about it. Our generation, I think we can get away without a niche, like me. My interest is so broad, you know. Anything you put on my hand, I produce something because I'm just have so fun to do that, okay? But your generation now, when you are older enough, you need to start to think about that. What area you're gonna make yourself, your name be identified in a certain area, and that's called niche, okay? All right. To develop a niche, meaning expertise, I'm gonna just put it out here, okay? You need to have ability to develop a good hypothesis. And how do you know how to develop a good hypothesis? You need to have a very strong rationale. Okay, I'm sure you're gonna learn it later. You know, what is a rationale? What's a hypothesis? Okay, a strong rationale is a foundation for you to develop your hypothesis. So when your experiment doesn't work, you will know why, okay, and whether you're gonna stay on or not, okay. And I live here, you know, first of all, you need to be able to ask the right question, okay. You know, I put an example here, the high impact, low risk. This is just don't mean for you to use it as a guideline, but it also sort of kind of a general rule for you to think about that, all right? You know, because in reality, eventually you'll need to get funding, get grant, okay? So if you develop something people consider as a high impact and low risk, guess what? 200% you're gonna get money, right? It's like you ask such important question, such a high impact, you know, what it succeeded, it's gonna be, you know, impact on many people, but it's a low risk, of course, all right? NIH is gonna give you that. But if the high impact, high risk, yeah, still worth it, right? If it, you know, it may not work, but it worked, my God, it's you know, it's a tremendous outcome. But if your question is a low impact and low risk, most likely that means it probably is not a very important question, okay? All right, but if it's low impact and high risk, that's not good, right? Yeah. However, even I say that, all right, this is just a general rule, but if you have a passion and compassion about something and you have a strong rationale foundation to support you, okay, then don't sway away, okay? You know, I'll tell you why, you know, even this, you know, about resources later, okay, all right? And you also need to have the ability, when you think about what is my right question to ask, also important question to ask, are you equally able to get other people excited as you are? All right, yeah. Okay, so I like to use an example, okay? So this is a case study, okay? Sorry, I'm a physician, so I'm gonna use sort of kind of clinical, but it's applied to science, okay, yeah. So Mr. H is a kidney transplant recipient. He has failed to return to transplant clinic for regular follow-up, and he has been labeled as a non-compliant patient. You know, you buy also when someone label you non-compliant in a way, it's kind of like, you're not very good patient, right? You're a bad patient, okay? So now I'm the one taking over this patient's care, all right? So when I take over and the day patient's supposed to come to see me, didn't show up. So I asked my staff, I say, oh, what happened? And they say, oh, this is a non-compliant patient, all right? And then, so I didn't stop there. Okay, I asked them, I say, could you elaborate more? And so my staff say, he always came and signed in, then left and never returned. Anything wrong with this statement? I think there's something wrong, right? If he doesn't want to come, why he even bothered to show up and even sign in? But then after signing, he left. So I said, this statement doesn't sit well on me. All right. So what I do, I say, I need to talk to this person myself directly, this patient. So I told my staff, I said, next time he can, page me right away. And I promise you, I'll come immediately. And then don't let him leave. Okay. If even you need to tie him up, don't let him leave. Okay. And they did. And so I came. So yeah, truly, truly, because when he leaves, he may not return, right? So I asked him, I said, why? Why even bother to come and even sign in, but then you left? And so this patient told me, he said, well, I came because I have an appointment and I come early and I park my car, double park, like, here, maybe parking is not a problem. In Boston, parking is horrible, right? So, and in particular, Longwood area, which is a Harvard medical area, traffic is horrible. Okay, we always joking when the terrorists want to destroy entire Harvard, one bank in Longwood area is enough. Okay, 20,000-30,000 people, a physician will be in there. It's impossible to find a parking. So this patient particularly, he said, I'll double park on the street, put a what is called emergency light, and then he said, I run into the clinic, I sign in so you guys know that I'm here and I'm not late. He said, but then I have no choice. I need to go back to my car and circulate in it to see if I can find a street parking. If I could not find a street parking, I have to leave because I cannot afford to pay for the parking. All right. You should know that at that time, the Boston usual parking costs about $20. Despite the hospital actually give patient discount, which is $8. To some patient, $8 is still a lot of money. Okay, so he left. So he said that every time that's what happened, he said, yeah, when I don't show up, that means I couldn't find a parking and because I could not afford it. So what did I do? I say, how about I pay your parking this time? Will you stay? He said, of course. So now a lot of time my white coat also have a cash. I also pay patient the parking. If you need a medication, how much medication? Sometimes I pay them. Okay, yeah. So he stayed, and meanwhile I refer him to a social worker. All right, to get him a parking voucher. So he never missed his appointment anymore. Okay, problem solved. So what's the point of this story? Curiosity. All right. Doing science, you got to have enough curiosity. All right. Do you push far enough? Or you just sit there, receive what people tell you, that's the fact, and you just say, oh, okay. Or you ask question further, right? So I Google it. What curiosity is synonymous, okay? I listed the top 5 here is, give the examination, investigation, or research, asking questions, eager for knowledge, or inquiring mind, questioning, or thirst for knowledge. I can tell you with my PhD training, I bring it back to the medicine when I was doing my internship. Every time when I'm on call, I see patient in emergency room, and my senior resident would tell me, to do this, and I always ask why. I said, tell me the reason why. So the end, he always say, are we still friends? I said, yeah, we are friends. Okay, yeah. But I do that, okay? And so this is something cliche, but when it comes down to it, is curiosity is about why, what, how. There's no particular order, all right? I'll give you another example, okay? So as a kidney team, we were asked to see a patient in the intensive care because the patient have a worsening kidney function. So I have a fellow work with me. So I sent fellow, say, you go to see this patient first, okay? So fellow came back, presented to me, and the fellow, first he established, I said, yep, indeed, this patient have a worsening kidney function, and the worsening kidney function is due to acute kidney injury. So this he established why, right? Why kidney is worsened. Okay, then he say this patient's acute kidney injury is due to acute tubular necrosis. Sorry, okay, no time to explain to you more, but so in the future when you start renal pathophysiology, you're gonna learn that, okay? And that's a particular portion of kidney, and it's acute tubular necrosis, lacking of oxygen, okay? So now he established why. So I asked him, I say, so what caused this patient's acute tubular necrosis? And so the fellow tell me, I don't know. I say, oh, you cannot say no. We are kidney doctor. We need to have answer. All right. I was half joking because lots of time in medicine, we don't have answer. Okay. But he stopped right here. All right. He didn't push further. Okay. So it ended up, I did my homework. I did my own work. I spent extra 2 hours. Okay, I look at this patient's record in the operating room, look at anesthesiologist's note, look at in the recovery room, the record. I interview nurses, and I know exactly what causing this patient's acute tubular necrosis. And because of that, we knew exactly how to treat this patient. And so this patient later on had to fully recover kidney function. Okay, so, and that's what I mean by curiosity. Okay, don't just stop it there. Okay, why, what, how? Don't stop in 1 or 2. And that's a curiosity. Keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Okay, for science, help you advance your science. For medicine, help you don't delay patient recovery. Okay, that's my point here. Okay, all right. So the next point I want to make is art of communication. Okay. I read English Reader Digest since I was 12 years old. So this is still my favorite. That's a year. What year is that? I think it's 2008 or something. They actually have series of artists drawing this American life. So this 2 cartoon here shows what? Shows nobody is look at people, right? Everybody's look at cell phone. In this regard, sometimes look at your own computer, include husband and wife, right? And this is could be potentially a problem. Okay, all right. So raise your hand when you drive. Did you use a signal sign? Thank God. Okay. When I'm driving, I absolutely hate it when people don't give me a signal sign. Okay, why? Because signal sign is you are telling people in front of you, behind you, your intention. And that's a form of communication. You are communicating with people. That's you already communicated without a language, right? Or without a voice language. So in pursuing science, you got to have a communication skill, not just a simple communication skill. You need to be articulated. Okay, the first time I joined Harvard, the first thing I noticed was we have a collaborator in MIT, and I went there. Having a meeting with MIT is really fun, okay? Sit across the table. Everything about biology, there's a HoT, what does it mean, aliquots? They don't even understand aliquots mean, okay? And then what they're telling me was a HoT, what do you mean by certain things, you know? But what they impressed me, there's 2 PhD students, okay? I asked them a question about physics, and they could use a very simple language to explain to me to a point that someone I meet, I understood, and that impressed me. And that's the ability for you should have as a future scientist or currently already scientist. I heard this is very good. During this morning, everybody have the opportunity to present your work, which is wonderful. That's a great opportunity there. Okay, so even I say both speaking and writing, but you need to push further, meaning you have to be able to articulate it. Okay, so this is one of my favorite quotes, okay, by Robert Kennedy. He say, there are those who look at things the way they are and ask why. And I dream of things that never were and ask why not. And I love it. Okay, the heart of Texas, this program, I talked to Roger, he was telling me how they started this, and same thing, they asked why not? If no one is doing that, why not doing that? And that's why this attract me. Okay, I'll give you an example. Housekeeping gene is defined by Dr. James Watson. Okay, by the way, he wrote this book of double helix. Very easy to read and really fun to read. This book is about his life being a postdoctoral fellow in Cambridge University. I actually, by the way, I sit in the pub where had dinner where he come up with this idea of a double helix. So really cool. Okay, yeah. And when you read this book, you will realize that he was a pretty lousy postdoctoral fellow at that time. Yeah. Okay, but I highly recommend it. You should read it. It's a very easy read. Okay, so Dr. Watson, he defined housekeeping gene as a group of genes that always express in every tissue to maintain cellular function. Right? That's the definition. However, okay, for long time, ever since this definition, because I knew that, I can tell you why, because I published a paper later and I went all the way back to his original publication. But all along, scientists misinterpret his definition as a set of genes that has constant expression level in all tissues. That means housekeeping gene it's a set of genes express the same expression level in brain, in liver, in heart, in kidney. But that's not what he meant. He only meant housekeeping gene is is expressed in all tissue. All right. So 1999, I joined Harvard, and I was on one that I pushed to a point that I was the only bioinformatics. Which is luckily because I love mathematics, I love number. So I was self-taught at Harvard. At that time, I inherited 42 projects, 12 collaborators. And everybody said, who is a bioinformatics? Me, okay, one person. And I was self-taught. Back then, 1999, there was no bioinformatics program available. So I learned it myself, okay? But in 2 years, I become expert. I run around the country, teach people how to analyze data. So same thing, people pay me to have fun, okay? So I use a microarray. I identify a set of 451 genes using Dr. Watson's definition, meaning expression of tissue. At that time, I created a human data bank using normal human tissue. And that's why I was able to identify this gene, 451. I use this as a definition, okay? I did not use what common people believe. Those genes have a constant expression level, okay? And so what I find was this set of 451 housekeeping genes, I was able to use them because they have a different expression level at different tissue. So just using so-called housekeeping gene alone, I was able to distinguish liver is a liver, kidney is a kidney, brain is a brain. Housekeeping gene alone. I don't need a kidney specific gene. I don't need a liver specific gene, just housekeeping gene alone. Okay, so because of that, actually, so now people name this a housekeeping gene, named after me. I finally have something named after me now. Hsiao's housekeeping gene. Pretty cool, huh? It's really cool. No academic importance, but I thought it was pretty cool. And when they talk about this kind of gene, they call it Hsiao's housekeeping gene, my housekeeping gene. All right, yeah, okay. And so later on, one of my master's degree students who used this Hsiao's housekeeping gene, not only able to distinguish normal human tissue, he's able to distinguish normal lung tissue from lung cancer, various lung cancer, and even more cool is this set of housekeeping gene actually can use to predict prognosis of those patients who have different lung cancer. All right, so that's what he showed here. Okay, and this paper is published. Okay, and it was pretty cool, huh? Housekeeping gene. All right. So, in addition to in science, in addition for you to ask why, okay, are you willing and be brave enough to ask why not? okay? To tell the truth, from my own personal experience, asking why not is always more fun, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is another very important element is mentors, all right? So what is the so-called good mentor? Okay, at least that's what I believe. I hope you agree with me, okay? A good mentor should be the person absolutely have your interest at heart, okay? And this person is a good listener, okay? This person should not always tell you what to do, okay? The mentor should be listen to you and give you, maybe offer you alternative, if you don't think of that. And more important is to provide your resources and networking. Okay, if anybody, and I usually recommend people don't get your PhD advisor or your master's degree advisor as your mentor. Okay, find mentor outside. All right, because no matter how non-selfish we say, but I'm your advisor, I may be still selfish. I want to keep you longer. Okay, I hope, and I hope that's not the case. Okay, and that's a good mentor. I remember one summer, a student, Harvard medical student, came to do research with me. It's a fantastic student, okay? I give him an idea, he turn around, he writes something. I was always good to write, to get a grant, okay? I mean, it's a very good writer. And so, we tweak the project to a point when the summer about to start it, and he looked to me, he was supposed to start the next week, and he looked at me, looks very worried. He said, what if after the summer and I end up, I don't like research? After I spend a summer in your lab and I realize I don't like research. Okay, I said, that's great. I'm happy I'm the one helping you realize that research is not your thing. Okay, don't worry. If that happened, that's fantastic. I'm happy I'm the one helping you to come to that realization. So relax and have fun. Okay, yeah. All right, so that's a mentor supposed to be, okay? So just remember, one funny mentor, not just one. You can have multiple mentors, but don't too many, not to have too many, right? 2 or 3, okay? Because every mentor have different strength. So you only find one, may not necessarily cover all your needs. So you can have 2 or 3. And with mentor, make sure you keep a good relationship with them. Spend time to go to visit them from time to time. After you graduate, at least Christmas, send them a Christmas greeting. How are you doing? Just want to give you an update, okay? Rather than some of my students disappear for 3 or 4 years, and after that I say, oh, I want to apply this, could you write me a letter? I say, who are you? I don't know you for the past 4 years, right? You got to, so that's not a good thing, okay? So remember that. As keeping your mentor-mentee relationship, you need to keep that, as a mentor, I learned it from that's a good mentor, okay, they follow up with me. And as a mentee, show my respect, I give them my update, okay? I have a couple of mentors already retired, and I'm still keeping in contact with them, give them my update, and they still have wisdom to help me, all right? And I hope in the future, when you're old enough, you also serve as someone else's mentor. Okay, so this pie chart is created by one of my Harvard undergraduate students. He is now an anesthesiology, and you can tell I'm not too happy about it. This is a joking. But I provided opportunity for him to give a talk. Okay, he get paid to give this talk, as a matter of fact. Okay, and this is the slide he created, so I'm using it. All right. So mentor is very important. All right. So I'll give you an example as a mentor. Okay, a good mentor. When I was at Harvard, I think early 2004, I was thinking I've been in Harvard long enough. I think it's time to leave. Okay, so I was interviewing places and got offered by many places and tried to narrow down which one to accept and leave. Okay, then Dr. Joanne Ingwo. Okay, at that time, she is the vice president of faculty affairs. What does it mean? Her job is helping faculties about their career. Okay, so she called me to her office and stopped me from leaving. Just as simple as that. She said, "You're not leaving." As simple as that. 3 seconds, okay? She said, you're not leaving, okay? So I stayed. But when I stayed, I asked her a question. I say, up to this point, I have no niche. Remember, I call it, right? For me, at that level of my career, I was like, I'm still good about publishing paper, but people heard my name, Lily Hsiao, I said, oh, what's her specialty, right? I'm good at everything, but nothing strong, okay? So I said, I have no niche. So what she told me is interesting, okay? At the time, at current time, she maybe got into trouble, but back then, do you know what she told me? She said, well, you are Asian. As simple as that. That's the conversation we have, okay? Not a single statement is more than 10 seconds, okay? And so what does it mean? So I left her office. I say, okay, I'm going to embrace my background as an Asian. And I also have a heart for preventive medicine, okay? Treating diseases is maybe easier, but I don't want the people get disease. I want to prevent them getting the disease. So because of that, I combine what she told me, you embrace that. And I realized that. Then I did my own research. Then I realized Asian population, huge Asian population in Boston, and they have a lot of that have no health care, okay, because language barrier and or lack of what is it called, insurance, okay. So because of that, I create a program, okay, a community outreach program called Kidney Disease Screening Awareness Program called KDSAP, okay. I started with the intention to at the beginning, to serving Asian community. But now this program now is expanding into serving all underserved population, okay? And so this program, we have 2 branches. One is a community outreach. The other one is campus activity. In campus activity is to help a student develop their career development, okay? And the community outreach this is a different station. We train students clinical skills. So the student actually have opportunity to work side by side with the physician, also has a hands-on with a community individual, okay? It's very popular, okay? So because of that, KDSAP now, we have 29 chapters nationwide, okay? And also NIH, NIDDK acknowledge this now. And so since 2020, they changed the fellowship training program, incorporate community outreach as a requirement. Okay, so I'm very proud of that. All right, yeah. This is just to give an example as a mentor. Okay, as a mentor, I remember someone mentored me, so I'm mentoring someone. This is as a table to show this is all my Harvard KDSAP undergraduate students. See, like, there's 12 here, all grants. Okay, I mean, too many, so I can listen. I just listen, and then I also created opportunity for them to have a presentation. I even, when I get invited to give a grand round, sometimes I invited my student to share stage with me. They get paid too. Okay, honorarium. Okay, and when we have paper, their names on the paper. And this is I know what their goal is, and that's as a mentor try to help them. All right. Okay. So what are others? Collaboration. You need to be willing to work with other people. Team player. Okay. If some of you here you are into applied medical school, team player is one of the important elements we are looking for. Okay, I used to sit at Harvard Medical School admission committee, so I know what we are looking for. Okay. However, doing the research nowadays is personally, I think it's very sad. People stop talking about what they do, and that truly lost the fun of being in science. Okay, being in science is you need to feel free, able to communicate with your peers, with your idea, and exchange ideas. But the current time, a lot of them, not all of them, all very secretive. Okay, they don't want to talk about your own idea. You don't want to talk about your project. Even at Harvard, same thing. Okay, every Wednesday we have a basic research conference. In all days, we are required to present our project. Nowadays, I talked to my colleague. She said we couldn't find anybody to present. I said why? He said the PI, primary investigator, doesn't want their fellow to talk about their project. Okay. it was quite sad, okay? But I still want you to remember that being able to work with other people, being willing to work with other people is important. But that requires wisdom. You need to have a wisdom to pick the right person, right? If you pick a wrong person, that will be a disaster. Yeah. And how do you get that wisdom? Work with your advisor, work with your mentor. They can teach you, and this can be trained, and this can be learned. Okay, at the beginning, work with your advisor and mentor. So when my postdoctoral fellow, my PhD student, when they say, oh, there's a possibility we can collaborate with someone, I say, okay, let's talk and let's get to know this person, what kind of person they are, okay? All right, so, I mentioned ask the right question, okay? Ask the right question, again, I want to emphasize it. Think about two words, rationales and hypothesis. These two words in science is very important, no matter what field you are, okay? And don't be rushed, okay? When you need it, sit back and take time to think before you act, okay? The third one is networking, okay? You need to know a way to find resources. Networking is incredibly important, okay? You cannot do things alone. Along your way, there are gonna be a lot of people who will help you, okay? And if you're not good at networking, then you will be very lonely, okay? Yeah. Grants, I put a grants here, just to give an idea, okay? That's a reality here now, right? You need to have the willingness to write grant, okay? Why is that? Because, being a scientist, a financial independent is incredibly important. Give you that independence, right? And also give you opportunity to sharpen your writing skill and speaking skill. And in addition to that is every time you write, even you get rejected, people always give you a constructive critique and you learn something from that, okay? In 2008, when economy went down, a good scientist need to write 20 grant proposal, 20 in order to get one. All right. Right now, it's not as bad, but it's still not easy. Okay. So you better start to learn now. That's why I say communication skill, writing, and you need to be articulated and have a strong ratio. All this, if you have this foundation, you already have good starting. Okay. Okay, all right. So this is additional. I love it. Okay, I tell you, managing your career like a businessman and businesswoman, even you're a scientist. Okay, this is a business now. It's your business, your own affair. Okay, manage it like a business. Okay, just say, oh, this is science is more important. I need to do my experiment. This is very important. The rest of it not very important. Wrong. That's equally important. I learned it from my mentor when I first joined Harvard. When I wrote my first grant, actually, before I went to Harvard, I got it. Okay, it was good. Again, I love it when someone pay me, I never do a single day experiment in Harvard, but I wrote using my imagination. Back then, there's a knockout system. My mentor said, pretty good, but incorporate knockout system. I never done that, okay? I went to my friend, there's a networking. I say, your job is in the next 2 hours, teach me what is a knockout system and make me understand it to a point I can write a grant proposal. And that's a networking. And my friend didn't refuse me. He told me, he really sit down with me for 2 hours. See, that's a networking. That's a friend, okay? And I got it. Even before I go to Harvard, I already have grant. I bring my own money, pay my own salary from the grant. As a fellow already, okay? And so, what I learned it, this is not from my own idea, this is learned from a previous advisor, okay? He said, keep your records, make every effort measurable. Everything can be measured. Make everything measurable. Started from your CV, okay? My CV, the most updated CV, I know that. Dated April 18, just a couple of days ago. Every single time I update it, I date it. So I know my CV is always updated. Okay, I got one more paper published, April 18, I put it in. Okay, maybe I should have another one now. So I can, so tonight I put it in, tonight, April 23rd, it will be the most updated. Okay, and everything you do, think about how you can record it. All right, it's measurable. Okay, this is a waste of time. If you don't know how to do it, then find your mentor, ask them to teach you how to do that. Okay, and I give some example. For example, do you publish something? Do you give an abstract? Do you present? For example, this event, you present something, put it on your CV. Okay, but you need to know how to organize your CV, make looks nice and organize it and impress people. Okay, everything you do today, today, put it up. Okay, I can tell you someone who worked for me, not not a formal fellow. Okay, but she worked with me a project. All right, I helped her get into a fellowship program. Okay, but something happened, so she needs to transfer from one program to the other program. And so she was sending CV to the other program. She asked me to help to look at her CV. When I look at her CV, it was a disaster. I was like, number one, you already have 6 abstracts published, presented in an international level of meeting. Where are they? She didn't even put it in. Okay, so I want to teach you now, starting now, have the habit to do that. Okay, if you write any grant, including the school, in the Baylor University, Baylor College, okay, KDSAP, we require our KDSAP student. I set up a grant for them to apply. Okay, every year I have a 5 spot. Do I have enough money for every chapter? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I write grant for their grant. Okay, they ask me, I said, where do you get the money? At the beginning, it's all from my pocket. Okay, all right, I pay for it. But later on, I write grant. I write grant for their grant, but I don't want to give them. So I set 5. Why? Then there's a competition. If you get it, you should feel good. And put it on your CV, right? Okay, and remember, update your CV. Okay, yeah, okay. So just a word of, I guess, my wisdom. Okay, so I use in the title, I use success. So I want to ask you here, how do you define your success? What in you, what would define as a success? So Mr. Malcolm Gladwell, he says, success is not a function of individual talent. It is the steady accumulation of advantages. Okay. To me, initially, when I use this slide, usually I mainly want to talk about networking and friendship. Okay. But here, I use this as all the elements we talk about it. Okay. Started from your personality. I actually, struggle a little bit. Do I want to put a talent in there? Okay. So started with you, call center here. You sit here, you say, okay, what kind of person, what type of person I am? And what kind of strengths do I have? Okay. Do I have what I have to do the things I love to do and enough sustain me to keep going? Okay. That's a fundamental. Think about that. Right. And then from there, then that's what we talk about. Okay. Curiosity, passion, compassion, collaboration, networking, okay, perseverance, okay, mentors, okay, all those gradually start to build up in your life, okay, and with time you have not. If you have all of them, wonderful. You don't, you're accumulating with time, okay, and I put luck, okay, in life, everything you do need to have some luck. Okay, but if things that doesn't work, I don't know if you should say bad luck, but I more intended to say be perseverant. Okay, pushing it. Okay, but after all the things, what are the 3 things for me personally? What is the 3 things that are most important? Networking, mentor, communication skill. To me, up to this point of my career, those are 3 things help me to where I am, and also allow me to help young people to achieve what they wanted to go. All right. But This is another definition of success. This is a car actually given by one of my best friends from medical school, as a matter of fact. He graduated number 3 in the classroom. I major in the bottom of my class. True story, okay? In case when you fail medical school, don't feel bad, because I failed my very first physiology test. Yeah, everybody is, when they are destroyed, I always call them, I say, don't feel bad, I failed mine. 52, okay? But next time, I know I need to get 94, I get 96, so thank goodness I don't need to repeat, okay, yeah. The second one is a cardiovascular, the first one is a smooth muscle, okay, yeah. But so in life, you know, what is a success? How do you define your success? To me, this is my, you know, he gave it to me on graduation, and I love it, so I always save it. So I want to share with you, to have laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affectionate children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. And that's a success. Roger said I get a lot of award. True, I got a lot of award at Harvard, but one award I love the most, it's called Starfish Award. It's a kind of funny name, starfish, okay? My family loved to eat. When I told my brother said, how do you cook starfish? Okay, that's my family, okay? But the story behind it, starfish, is coming from where? Is an author who wrote something about he was walking on the beach, and from distance, he saw someone walking toward him, and it looks like that person was dancing. And he was like, whoa, someone in a very good mood, okay? It's dancing on the beach, okay? But when he get closer, he realized that this person wasn't dancing. This person was to pick up something, throw it back to the ocean. So when he went to this person, he said, young man, what are you doing? This person say, well, you see, the sun is coming up. It's a noontime now. Those are all starfish, got flushed off the shore, okay? He said, if I don't put them back to the ocean, they will all die. So the author say, laugh at him. He said, there's so many, you cannot possibly save everyone. So this person pick up one, throw it back to the ocean, and say, at least I saved this one. And that's, as a physician, as a scientist, what we do, that's a success. Okay, one life at a time. And as a scientist, when we publish a paper, you are just one link. This link allows other people, based on your finding, develop another rationale and form a different hypothesis, create another link, and then keep going, all right? So, okay, so in summary, be curious, be passionate and compassionate, be willing to share, okay? Remember what I say, okay? I think you'll be a happier person, okay? And be prepared to fail, okay? And be prepared. If you do experiment, if you don't fail 90%, you're lucky. Majority of people average 90% of the time, you won't get a negative result, right? And be prepared of that, okay? And so that's why I say you need to have a perseverance, okay? I think English word is really cool, okay? Here, why we call research, the word research is research. Why you're searching? You're searching something because you believe it's there. That's why you're searching. If you don't believe it's there, you say, why I'm nuts? Why should I searching for, right? And you just keep keep searching and searching and searching. Why? You have a strong conviction. You know it's there. So how do you get that strong conviction? That's the challenge to you, all right? And be humble, okay? Another word is discover, okay? Discover, when people use it, discover, I was like, wow, I'm so good, I discovered something. But the truth is, no, you didn't create something. Discover just means things are already there. It's discovered. Nobody see it. You happen to be the one uncover it, right? So in science actually make me humble, okay? And I want to remind you this. I mean, this is my personal philosophy. I want to share with you, okay? Yeah. But most important, have fun, okay? In general, my life, what doing science is, and that's no fun, I'm not doing that, okay? Yeah. And this is to remind you to be a good citizen, okay? I serve in all this organization. It's not because I wanted to. I view this as I am a good citizen. I'm serving my peers, okay? When you are at that level, just, this is all volunteer, okay? So just think about that, okay? Yeah. But this is a time balance issue, okay? Again, you know, learn it from your mentor, all right? So, but I want to remind you as well, remember to lift up your head, okay, and look up the sky and the people around you. Don't just put your head down doing experiment, writing paper, writing grant, stare at the cell phone, stare at a computer. All these photos, I took it, okay? I developed a photography habit since I was in a PhD program. Why? Because my experiment kept failing. Every time my experiment didn't work, I said, okay, that's done for my day. And I will go home, pick up my camera, and I will walk down the street, and I took pictures. And in my picture, when I took a photo, I actually have a vision, what kind of a frame I want to do. And I would take picture. And then to the end, I clear my head. And sometimes I figured out why my experiment didn't work. All right, so I got thousands of photos, okay, and because I failed, so that's how many times I failed my my experiment, okay, and this one, the snow, so the Texas is not often for you to see. That's one day on my way to work, and this is all 5 minutes from my home. Okay, this one I was one of my students, summer student, took me here for flying fishing. I didn't catch anything. So the end of summer, he gave me a book. He said, "Fly fishing for dummy." I said, "Okay, you don't need to come back next year." Joking, right? Yeah. But so this is, enjoy the beauty of nature. You got to get inspiration somewhere. All right. You need to clear your head. All right. Okay. My hobby, I love good food. I hike. I don't watch TV anymore. I read book to a point. I can read books so fast, okay? But if under my pillow, if I have 3 books accumulated, all of them can retire because none of them interest me, right? But if they're good, I can finish it, right? Yeah. So have a hobby, that's my point, okay? Because that can clear your head and make you humble, okay? Don't forget about that. Hobby is very important. Make you a real human being. You will understand what is life about, what's the suffering about, okay? And make you a real scientist. Okay, I don't know, and all of you, no matter what you do, I think you're gonna touch a human life. So I wanted to use this to remind you, okay, this is from Dr. Martin Luther King. It's of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and inhuman. Right? So I wanted to share this with you so that we can encourage each other, okay? And again, I want to challenge you. There's those who look at things the way they are and ask why. And I dream of things that never were and ask why not, okay? And I'm going to end it here, and I hope this is a fun talk for you, and then you enjoyed it, okay? And I open for questions. Thank you. Thank you. So do we have time for question? Yeah, okay, yeah. I usually have tendency to talk too much. That's always the case. Yeah, all right, yeah. Any question in the audience? Yes? What do I decide to do? I'll be a kidney doctor, okay. So 2 things, okay. One is mentor. That's why mentorship is so important, okay. When I was doing my residency, the person who inspired me the most, or I the most close to, are the group of nephrologists. All right, so that play very important role. So a mentor is great important. Okay, and second thing is kidney is a lot involved in lots of numbers and mathematics.
No,
and
I'm still kind of in the
chemicals. And so, like I mentioned, by nature, I'm a mathematician. I love numbers. Okay, I still don't use a calculator to this days. You can give me a number, I can do it in my head. All right. Oh, by the way, I just learned the history. The handheld calculator was invented here in Texas. I learned it yesterday. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah. Kidney is, is kidney doctor is in general. I always teach my students, say kidney doctor is reasoning. We love reasoning. Everything I don't like to memorize things. So that's why I did so poorly in medical school. Okay, but when I did a clinical year in the hospital, I fly. I get high honor. Okay, but in taking the exam, I truly in the bottom of the class. Okay, but kidney is about peeling onions, just like I showed you the example. Okay, one layer at a time, peeling onions. Okay, you have this problem. Okay, what causes this problem? Next one. Okay, why? Next one, how did it happen? Just peeling onions. Every single condition is like that. It's peeling onions. And you don't need to memorize it. It just comes nature. If you have a foundation of physiology, physiopathology is all in here. And using your common sense, and you can peel an onion to the end and say, right there, we have a good explanation here. And that's what I love it. I never need to memorize things. Some people need to memorize it. I hate memorizing things. So that's why it appeared to me. All right. Yeah. Do I answer your question? Okay. I hope you become a kidney doctor in the future. I hope I convince any of you become a kidney doctor. We need it. Okay. We have major shortage in country. Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other question? Yep. But before you do that, could you tell me your name? Andy, okay. And by the way, what's your name? Aldi. Aldi, okay. Andy, okay. So what's your question?
Besides keeping in touch, what's another characteristic of a good mentee? What do you look for in people that you
mentor? Okay, a good mentee. Okay, a good mentee is always a response. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, I forgot to tell you. Okay, a lot of people ask me, what is, sorry, I'm kind of like using my Harvard student as an example. Okay. A good mentee is this. If you ask me a question, I'm very good about answering your question right away. Okay. A good mentee is you will get back to me, even a very short message, say, thank you so much. That's a response. That's a communication. All right. But if you ask me a question, I answer your question and you just disappear. Okay. That's a disrespect. Okay. And next time I was like, well, you seem to don't care that much. Why should I respond to you? Okay. I see that a lot. My Harvard student, that's a different from that. They ask me question, and when I answer them question, by the way, if you email me, you probably get answer probably sometimes within 5 minutes. Okay, we're a hyperactive kid. And the unique is that they will get back to me, either just a simple say, thank you so much for your advice or whatever, just simple like that. Okay. But a lot of students from outside, some of my friends' daughters, sons, they are attending different school, and they were like, Auntie Lily, this friend has this question, would you please help? And I was like, sure, of course. They will email me. Sometimes my answer is longer than their question. All right. But no response, no response. So that's a human courtesy. That's a simple courtesy. Okay, that's rule number one. Okay, and that's number one. Number two, you as a mentee, you need to take initiative. Okay, make appointment. Even now, Baylor is so big, and by the way, the campus is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. Okay, and I don't know how big is a school, how easy for you to find a mentor. Develop a mentor-mentee relationship. You really need to have that. To a point, this person writes you a letter, can call you first name, can give a example of your personal story. Okay, all right. And the longer this person knows you, the more valuable this person opinion about you, right? I mean, you go to him, not necessarily only want this person write your letter, but you want to form a relationship for a long time, include, I mean, right now, I still mentor someone since Harvard Medical School. He is now attending a kidney doctor in Houston. Yay! My very first kidney doctor I produced, okay? Yeah, I'm still mentoring him. And last month, 2 months ago, I just write him a letter because he wanted to write a grant. And I wrote him a letter to support him. And guess what? He got it, right? And this is a more than 10-year relationship, okay? How do we maintain the relationship? Because he still keep coming back to me, okay? Even just this month, last week, my birthday. And he sent me a quick note. He said, happy birthday. All right. This kind of relationship, you keep that human connection there. You need to know how to initiate that. If you are still in campus, you identify someone, say, okay, I would like this person to be my mentor. And this person say, yes, I'll serve. I'll be happy to serve as your mentor. Then you need to initiate, say, okay, either you can find a reason and say, now I have this issue. I don't know how to proceed. Can I come to meet you and talk it over? Okay, and then let's see when he's at time, and you work out the time with him, right? Or say, oh, I just want to come by to say hello to you, see how you're doing, and chat, having a tea or coffee. Okay, in my office, I have nice Chinese tea and Vietnam coffee, all kind of good tea, good coffee. So people can come. I have espresso, I have a French press. I mean, I have all kinds. So you can come to the office, you can choose what you want. Okay. Of course, and we love to, talking over food always better, right? Yeah. So that's a good mentee is you need to initiate. Okay. A good mentor, we have our part to do, right? Yeah. I would reach out to you if I agree to be your mentor. If I don't hear from you, even last week, I just sent out email to 2 of my mentees. I said, I haven't heard from you. How you doing? I just want to update. I just want to follow up how you doing. I have my job to do, but you as a mentee, you need to remember that always initiate, okay, that your mentor would appreciate. Okay, do I answer your question? Sure. Okay, any other question?
We're running a little on time. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just want to have All right, so let me get this set up real quick right over here. Thank you, Dr. Hsiao, one more time. Let's see. Okay. All right, this was a very good talk. I think I will definitely need to email my mentee one more time, mentor professor, and catch her in the statistics department on Monday. But thank you one more time. So to everyone who's on Zoom, who is outside of Baylor or outside of the Waco region, thank you all for attending the award ceremony and the keynote speech. We'll go right ahead to the award ceremony now, since I know it's around 2:15. So thank you very much. So for the first one, we're presenting the Outstanding Presentation Awards, and it's for chemistry and biochemistry. And we have Alyssa Kohler, Gustavo Vasquez, and Tracy Rangel. So a lot of you are probably on Zoom, but we will save the applaud for later. So I know that we have a lot of awards, so I'll go over this very smoothly. The next one is Clinical Public Health for Outstanding Presentation. We have Anna Tricky. And for Computer Science Engineering for the biomedical aspect, we have Nethra Venga-Tayogi. And for Computer Science Engineering Integrative portion, we have Nikki Hammond. And for Biology Plant Integrative section, we have Autumn Hildebrand. For Biology Microbiology section, we have Caleb Shackelford. And for Biology Cell and Molecular, we have Priyanka Senthil. And Environmental Science Integrative, we have Anshu Dandu. Environmental Science Toxicology, Bennett Shakmuth. And for General Psychology, we have Sofia Alvarez. And Neuroscience Part 1, we have Esther Ko. In Neuroscience Part 2, we have Pranay Sharma and Sindhuja Aragola. In Physics Applied Mathematics, we have Axel Sanchez Moreno. Sociology, Social Psychology, we have Sophia North. And for all the burst students and for pre-health orgs who are giving credit for their members for attending today for HoT, here is the second bit.ly link for the sign out form as well as the QR code. And I just want to give one final thank you to HILA scholars, Dr. Matthews, Dr. Hsiao, Roger, and Arvind. Arvind's right there. Thank you so much, Arvind, as well, for recruiting Dr. Hsiao over. And it's a pleasure to have you come on Baylor campus, Dr. Hsiao. We really appreciate it. And one more thank you to Faith and Gabriel from the Burst Special Events Coordinators for hosting the grad fair and for having people outside of Baylor and outside of Waco region present their talks as well. And so I hope you all had a great time coming to HoT. And if you have any questions for Dr. Hsiao, if Dr. Hsiao, you have any more. Okay, perfect. Yes, awesome, very good. And if you have any questions regarding attendance or any of the logistics, you can definitely come up to me afterwards or email me as well. But thank you all so much and have a great rest of your week and good luck for finals too. Thank you, Roger. Do you know how to